Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from my usual style of video, and that's because I figured that this project here that I'm going to talk about was going to be quite of a hassle to film because it required a lot of steps, and I don't like making multiple parts videos, although I've done it in the past. And so I just thought that instead of showing you every single step, I would explain to you what I did. And I also did film some of the steps, like making the ephemera, making the decoration really. So that, of course, I'm going to show to you. So I like to call this project, you probably already know from the title of this video, I like to call it Shabby Trinket Box. Initially, this project started very differently from how it looks now because the box that I was using was actually a recycled box. I had this box at home that I thought had a very interesting shape, and I tried to adapt that to this project, but then it just bad things happened during the process for this, and so I had to destroy the box. I was able to, of course, keep some of the elements that I had made for I really kept all of the elements that I had made for the project. It's just that the box I threw away because it just got destroyed. It just wasn't working, and so I created the box myself. To make the box, I used some sturdy cardboard. The size of my box is 10 by 10 centimeters with a height of 7 centimeters. So I'll be cutting 4 pieces of 10 by 7 to make the sides and a piece of 10 by 10 to make the lid. The paper that I used to cover the box is 44 centimeters long and 7 in height. To make this, I took a piece of 30 by 30 paper and I sewn it together with another piece. And now I will be gluing down the individual sides to the paper. As you can see, the paper is a little bit rough on the back because it was originally glued on the previous box, but I managed to salvage it. When I glue the different sides on the paper, I will be leaving a little bit of space in between so my box can fold. So all the sides are glued down, and as you can see, there's a little bit of paper left, and I will be using that paper to put the box together. Now, something that I did not show in the clip you just watched is how I created the base. I've glued the sides, the box, the actual box, to a bigger piece of cardboard. I let it dry and then I cut around it. And so I had the perfect size for the base. Some of the areas of the base are not covered with paper. So what I did for all these painted parts, I painted everything in white gesso first. And then I used distress sprays. I used a mix of distress spray stain in tumbled glass and oxide spray in speckled egg, and then I used the oxide spray in Victorian velvet. So for the base, I used the white gesso first, and then I sprayed a little bit of the tumbled glass and the speckled egg together, and then with a brush I gave these brush strokes like this. I let it dry, and then I did the same with the Victorian velvet oxide spray, and I did the same thing for the inside of the box that I'm going to show you in a minute. Sneak peek, I don't know if you can see, but the inside of the lid is also painted, and I painted it with the distress sprays, but this time I did not use the brush strokes because I did it first and I did not know how to do it. So originally I did it just by spraying and letting it dry. For the lid, of course, I created this piece with the roses. For the colors, I really tried to match the colors of the roses on the paper. I don't know if I did a good job. It was really, really hard. You're going to see all of that in a minute. But I'm quite proud of how it looks. To create the piece in the center, I'm using a mold and some air dry clay. Now you can see that the mold only has one size of the rose, so to create the other ones, I put the paste more towards the center, and then using a little metal spatula, I got rid of the excess clay. And with the same mold, I created the leaves. To create this smaller rose, I did the same thing. I put a little bit of clay right in the center of that rose, got rid of the excess and glued it down together with the other pieces. And now I'm gonna let it dry. So off camera, once my piece was dry, I covered everything in white gesso, and now I will be using some watered down acrylic paint in gray, and I'm gonna mix it a little bit with some very light lilac to give a base color to my piece. And then I'll get rid of some excess paint with a wet wipe. For the background, I chose a light blue color that matched the one of the background of my paper. So you'll notice now that the centerpiece is a little bit darker than it was before, and that's because off camera I noticed that the shadows that I wanted to give the piece were a little bit too light. So I used the gray paint without mixing it with any other color to lighten it up. And now I'm covering everything, all the raised areas, with some white gesso. And I'm using white gesso because it's a little less pigmented than white acrylic paint, so it gives that light layer without covering too much of the shadows. The coloring for this was quite challenging because again I was trying to match the exact colors of the paper. I don't know if I did a good job, but I'm quite happy with how it looks. And you'll notice that the paper has a lot of gray, so I was trying to match that. So now I'll start to add the colors to the roses. Now, if you look at the paper, the roses have three colors. There are some pink roses and some gray. So the big rose is going to be painted in pink with a lot of hot pink shadows. Then the medium-sized rose is going to be gray, and the smaller rose up the top is going to be pink, but with less shadows, because I just observed the paper and that's what I noticed about the print, that the different sized roses had different colors, so I also tried to match that aspect. So to connect the lid to the box, I used a piece of this white fabric. But before gluing it down to the box, I glued the piece on the inside. You're going to see in a minute how I made that one. And then, of course, I glued the other side of the fabric to the box to connect the piece. And then I wanted to find a way to sort of cover up that area of the box, and so I decided to use this frilly lace that I have, and I glued it down on all the sides of the box. And once I was done with all of the lid, of course, I created this little thing here that you can use to open the lid. Originally, I had just glued down this piece here, but then it looked too ugly, so I glued some lace on top of it, a ribbon, and I added this little charm that is also in the shape of a rose. I did this off camera. Now for the inside of the lid, I don't know if you can see this actually, because I'm filming this in a different angle and I'm having trouble showing it to you. So I'll pick up the phone for a minute so you can see it better. Okay, so this is the inside of the lid. I created this base and the paper is the same as the paper that I used for the box, and I really wanted to do this. Now this is smaller than the base. Now if I had made this box initially, this piece would have been as big as my lid. The reason why it is like that is because in my old box, the lid part of the box had a little bit of space here that I couldn't get rid of, and so I needed to make this small. But I'm going to show you how I did this. So to create the little base with the elastics, I took 3 pieces of cardboard. I used cereal boxes, which are quite sturdy, but I did glue down 3 pieces of 7 by 9 by 7 by 9 centimeters. That measurement comes from, again, that little space on the lid from my old box. When I destroyed it, I kept that piece because I really liked how it looked. I glued them down together, and then I added the paper, the same paper that I used to cover the box. And then, of course, I added the eyelets and this elastic band. So you see that in the actual box, there is this little goodie bag. This is not removable. This is glued down to the base. Now, my idea for the box was to have this little pillow container on the inside. Indeed, not only this is filled with ephemera, but it has like filling inside. So to make the pillow, I used both lace and some white fabric. The pieces of laces that you're seeing right now are used to create the sort of closure of the pillow. I took 8 pieces in total of 13 centimeters of length, and I sewn them together to create 4 pieces. Then I sewn those pieces on each sides of the square base, which is 11 by 11 centimeters. Then to create the space for the filling in the pillow, I took a long piece of fabric, which is 44 centimeters long and 5 centimeters in height. Once I sewn it together, I then filled it up and glued it on the base of the box. And then to create the closure, basically took a needle, a big needle, and I threaded this thin ribbon inside of it. And then with the needle, I made the ribbon go through all the little holes in the lace that I used. So now this thing can, you can open it. And inside, there is more ephemera envelopes with postcards in it. And I actually wanted to include them inside the pillow, and in my old box they did fit in. But in this one, I realized once the box was already all decorated that they did not fit. They are bigger than the box. But I still want to include them in the project, so whoever receives this box is going to get them together with the box. I'm probably going to put a little ribbon or something to keep them in place. But I just took 2 pieces of 15 by 15 paper and I created the envelope. This is how they look. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a little bit more in depth of all the ephemera that I made. So this was a tea bag I covered with a paper. That paper I made myself was a printable that I made this sort of collage print. I added this a little labeled with some stamping on it because I felt like this area here was a little bit too empty. So most of the things you'll see here are from printables. This is a little picture. This is also from the tea bag. This is the little thing that is with the actual tea bag. I was drinking tea and it came off, and I thought I can save it. And I covered it with some cardstock and put a stamp on it. And I paper clipped it to the tea bag. Oh. And inside, this can be opened, right? Inside there is this. This one is was a print, right? And it had this thing with seeds on it, and I thought it would be nice to make it look like an actual little seed packaging. So I sewed this piece of craft paper on it, and I made a little pocket with it, and also this. Then I added some stamping, and then originally on the inside I did not have anything, but then I added this because I thought it was a little empty. It was a print that I glued on a piece of paper. It's the collage paper for my printable file. Then I added this piece of specimen. I actually had die cut this specimen. It's from one of those it's from a T-mold set, which I don't remember the name of, but it's from the one with the specimen card and the file card as well. Not the file card, the file folder. And originally I wanted to do this as a standalone specimen slide, but then I put this on the this, and I thought it looked very pretty. So I cut this other off, you see, and I glued it down here, and I sort of glue it down where most of the flowers are on this image. So it kind of looks like a specimen slide, but it really isn't. Then I glued this label, added some stamping, and then I added this little thread here in the holes of the specimen slide. Then I put a little pin here, and I added a couple of labels. Oh my god, you cannot see them. It's kind of hard to film like this. Then, oh, what's in here? This is like opening a Christmas present, because I do know what's in here, but like I don't know what's coming next because I don't remember the order I put them in. This is also a printable. Cats. It was a identity card, an ID card that I found on Pinterest, and I printed it out. Thought it was really cute. I thought that maybe this is the lady who owns the box, and I loved it because he had this pink stamping. I thought it looked so cute, and inside of it, you see I put this cat picture. I used cats a lot, not a lot, but I put a little cat theme on it. I do have 2 cats at home. I am a cat lady. This did not match to this. These were 2 different pictures, but I wanted this to be like an actual cabinet card, so I just matched it with this pink one. I made it the same size on the printable, and then I lost everything. I used the paper clip to put it together, and then because I wanted to use this, I also added this to the other side of the paper clip. This is one of my specimen cards. Actually, this is a slide card, I would say. I made this a long time ago, and I thought it went so well with the theme of this box, so I had to add it, right? Very cute. And the outside of the ID card, I just glued it down on a piece of light blue cardstock, and I added some stamping. I wanted this to look like an actual ID card, but I did not have like something that looked like it. So I just managed to make something similar with the stamps that I had. Like I added this flower, this circle here, some writing. I like to call this a mini album. Oh, I loved making this. You see? Cats. So this is how the little cards looked up close. The dates I added, these were printables as well. I had this idea of making these cards and I wanted to add them. Another little kitty. I love this picture. It's so cute. Next we have the button card. This is the button little coin bag. It has buttons in it. Just some simple buttons. Oh, and these are the last two things in this area of the box. The fabric samples, which I loved making. Okay, so now on the lid we have a couple of things, prints that I glued down on some coffee dyed paper. Nothing crazy. I imagined that this lady sort of saved some labels, some cards from products that she might have bought. These are like tickets, right? That also had this pink writing. Yeah, this was my thought process behind this project. I do like to imagine the story of a project. Okay, now we have the little specimen slides. These were made with that Tim Holtz die. The little here, the specimen label was also made like that. It's from the same die set. And I also added this little charm to the pin. This is how they look, right? They are sewn on this ribbon here. Then they close down like this and you tie them again. I'm not gonna do it now. And you put the pin in. So I'm gonna give you another little close-up of the box. And this is how the panel, I'm gonna turn the box like this. This is how it looks without the ephemera in it. You'll see it's the same paper that I used to cover the lids. I did this off camera, I forgot to mention this. I also added this ribbon to keep the lid open like this, because I wanted the lid to stay like this instead of going all the way down. And so I thought of adding this to the box, so when you open it, it stays like this. We reached the end of the video. Let me know in the comments if you like this new style of video that I made. Of course, do not worry, I'm still going to make the videos just like I did before. You know, the full tutorials with every step. This is not gonna be the type of video that I'd make every time. So let me know in the comments if you like this, if you don't like it, and what you think about this project as a whole. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!